I think there's going to be quite a lot of surprises in terms of what's new for the game. Previous versions of Motorstorm have been classic off-road racing games. Monument Valley, racing in the desert and through the mud. Pacific Rift on a Pacific island. We had Arctic Edge in the snow. All off-road racing games. Motorstorm Apocalypse is an urban off-road racing game. We're taking Motorstorm and the festival into a city, but it's still going to be off-road racing. It's going to be nothing like street racing or any other urban racer you've ever seen before. The main reason is because the city is being destroyed. As soon as Motorstorm arrives, the place has been pretty much abandoned thanks to an earthquake. They decide to hold a festival there, and over the course of a virtual 48 hours, the place continues to get more and more destroyed. So this turns into the party at the end of the world. So this is every expectation about urban racing turned on its head. This is Motorstorm racing in the sewers and the subways, racing through the parks, racing through people's houses, through offices, and in a brand new track that we're unveiling today, we'll show the way you can race on the roofs of skyscrapers as they're collapsing. So it's a massive new direction for Motorstorm. Still an off-road racing game, but in a way that you've never seen before. It's set in a fictional city that's inspired by places like San Francisco. We didn't want to do a real city because we want to have more control and flexibility over what we do in that place. And we decided it because quite a few members of the team thought it would be cool. And we got quite a lot of emails from fans saying, why don't you do Motorstorm in the city? That sounds like it'd be a cool idea. So there's been a demand for it really. And we thought that's a cool idea, but let's not just do Motorstorm, the urban racer, the street racer, because there's hundreds of street racing games. Let's try and bring off-road racing and urban racing together and do something really unique. We thought, wouldn't it be fun to have not just one new vehicle class, but 5 that would all traditionally do really well in the city. So supercars, superbikes, we've got choppers, we've got sports compact, kind of European fast cars, and muscle cars. And in a traditional street racing game, they'd be the kind of vehicles that you get. But because this isn't a traditional street racing game, all of those vehicles with insane acceleration and top speeds and really strong handling actually have got to fight against monster trucks, big rigs, rally cars, racing trucks, all of the classic range, and they've all got a good chance of winning by picking the right routes, by taking advantage of the destruction and devastation as it happens in real time, by barreling through the water if the vehicle suits it, by getting up onto the heights that are created as the city's ripped into pieces. So 5 new vehicle classes, not just one, and a real nice mix of urban and off-road in those vehicles. Well, we always pride ourselves on trying to show something that the PlayStation 3 can do that maybe other hardware can't do, and really try and make it look as if our first game and our final game on a platform almost look as if they're for different machines. It happened on PS2 with the rally games that we made for that, and it's something that we really wanted to do with this, to really push ourselves, really try and be ambitious, to come up with a whole load of features that on day one would be impossible, but by the time we finish the game, which we're getting very close to, would actually be totally achievable. And to try and take inspiration not from other racing games, but from action adventures, from first-person shooters, from big Hollywood blockbuster movies, and really try and get a nice sense of scale. I think the key word for us was scale, to be epic and offer as big a scale as we possibly can with the game. We've done it in increments from one game to the next, but really tried to raise the bar as high as we can this time. Well, one of the first ones is the combination of split screen and online, which means that guys playing in the living room can play together against others online. We've got 16-player online, 4-player split screen in the home. Right now, as I speak, we're trying to get 4-player split screen working with online. It's already working with 2-player, 3-player split screen. So that means that guys who haven't played online very much can play with guys who've played a lot more against others online and get rewarded for playing it no matter how well they do. We really wanted to make this an experience that isn't just for hardcore gamers online. So inspired by first-person shooters, every time you play, Even if you just do something like sail through the air off a ramp, you'll earn points for that. You can spend those points on customization parts and on perks that make the vehicles faster or stronger or with better handling, so that all the time that you're playing online, you're being rewarded and the experience is getting better and better for you. So online's a big deal for us now. It always has been, but it's now a much bigger deal. We've got a single player experience that's much more like a shooter or an action adventure, and a multiplayer experience with a lot more creativity. You can customize vehicles, make them look unique, share those designs. You can create modes from scratch with a mode creator, completely rewrite the rules of the game and share those rules online, have others tweak the rules, change them a little bit, and then we can incorporate them into our playlists and run tournaments. So online is really where it's at for us. We want to create a community of real-world motorstormers that stick with us, the team, for as long as possible, having as much fun in this absolutely maniac environment. Totally overhauled all of the core gameplay mechanics. New handling models for every vehicle, new boost values, so every different vehicle class has a different way that it approaches the way the engine overheats and cools down. We've added the ability to cool the engine down by soaring through the air. In-air cooling, which adds a massive tactical layer to the game. You can win races without in-air cooling, but if you want to set the best time in the world, every time you go over a ramp, take your finger off the accelerator and you'll earn more boost and shave seconds off those times. So they are more responsive, they are different across all these classes more than ever before, different approaches to boost, much more aggressive ramming, much more violent ability to slam into other vehicles, and we've tweaked the way the rams work so that you can also use it to very rapidly adjust the line, duck out of the way of obstacles and keep that race going. I hope that what people see is that we've tried to do a mix. Rather than have golden rules and say, let's make every track wide, let's make every track narrow, we've kind of said there are no rules here. So yeah, you can have a track that's wide, you can have a track that goes down narrow streets, you can have tracks that go down into the sewers and the subways, you can now have tracks at night, you can race the reverse of tracks. So there will be tracks that people will see as different to what's gone before in Motorstorm, but there'll also be many that are very faithful to the core DNA of Motorstorm. So we're exploiting the variety that we have. We've always been about multiple vehicles and multiple routes, but this time there's a lot more variety across the tracks. So for example, a race on the rooftops that is just against bikes and ATVs is very different to a race downtown where everybody's in a muscle car that feels like a kind of 70s cop chase, but at the end of the world. So what I'm hoping people will see is that in recreation mode, our kind of sandbox mode, you can tweak the rules and the values to create pretty much any type of race experience that you like. But in the single player festival mode, we'll show race by race, chronologically, how you can approach those different types.